Well, I hope everyone's had a good Friday at the job or off the job or wherever you happen to be. Got some additional information here in the last day or two. First of all, just go back and mention GDP came in strong for the second quarter, 3% growth. It's important to realize a lot of that is due to, you could say, the wild pendulum swings we've seen with imports in the first quarter and with the loss of imports in the second quarter due to the ongoing tariff battles. And subsequently, that meant that export activity actually boosted GDP because of the way it's calculated. So that helped contribute. The overall kind of more standard indicators showing really what's happening with output and growth, we're all under 2%, whether it be consumer spending or final sales or fixed private investment. Those were a little more muted. And so it's something we certainly have to look to. From the standpoint of employment, the numbers today, this morning, didn't look great overall. And a lot of that is due to factors that have to be taken into consideration. But overall, things don't look as good from the employment front, at least from the overall national landscape. And that obviously is a concern, especially because there were major revisions to employment, to job creation numbers for May and June, considerable, almost to where there were almost hardly any jobs net created in May and June. What has happened, and obviously supporters of the president pointed this out in subsequent articles based on a press release that came from the Department of Labor, U.S. Department of Labor, is that there has been a swing in terms of who holds the jobs. And they see this as a win. Just to go ahead and throw it out there, they'll say it as much. That while overall job creation has stalled in a lot of ways, and this will likely be pushing unemployment up. It's went up to 4.248%, really should have come in at 4.3, and based on some information Mark Vittner shared, it could easily be 5% because of how muted labor force participation is being shown right now. One of the factors that is being brought up by others is to say that the losses in employment are more so on those of the foreign-born workers. That, of course, can be tied directly to the increased immigration enforcement as well as just general perceptions of immigration enforcement. And subsequently, there's a belief that those jobs are now shifting over to native-born workers. It's important to also remember there are a lot of citizens in this country who are foreign-born. So I think that's not exactly a fair or appropriate way to look at that difference. To me, it would be perhaps make more sense if we were looking at it from a more appropriate perspective, but looking at it purely from the basis of native-born versus foreign-born doesn't, I think, necessarily say what we would want to say or want to think, regardless of our political views on immigration. The fact is, the numbers are what they are, at least for now, and there's going to be a lot more to be looking at here as we try to take a real deep look based on what's going to be reported here in the near future as we kick off the reporting period for information coming from July and finishing up June at the state and local levels, really trying to look at where we are here at the midpoint of 2025. So I hope everyone has a good weekend and take care.